And we would like to bring on the wonderful Miss Laura Engel. She is going to be talking about the Memoir Writers Association. And Laura is our amazing, hardworking, ever cheerful president of the San Diego Memoir Writers Association. As we often say, if you don't yet know Laura, she will feel like family within a few minutes.
There she is. Hi, Laura. I think you're muted. There you are.
Here I am. Here I am. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hi.
Laura. Will you tell us a little bit about the Memoir Writers Association?
I'd love to. But what I want to say first is this is fantastic. It just gets better every year. You guys have done a
Yay.
job. I just wanted
Awesome.
to tell everybody a little bit about our organization. At San Diego Memoir Writers Association, we are a nonprofit group, and we have this mission that we want to educate our members on the craft of writing memoir as well as the business of writing memoir. We meet once a month virtually right now, and we have workshops and presentations and exciting events all year long. If you're a memoir writer, we're the place you want to be. Also, speaking of events, we are in the midst right now of our contest for the Memoir Showcase. And Marty spoke about this earlier. Our showcase is such an exciting event. Oh my gosh, it is life-changing. And you can submit your work even if you're not a member. All you do is go to our website, which is sdmwa.org, and it'll have all the details there. Go under Memoir Showcase, and you can see what the rules and regulations are, as well as how to submit your work. It is life-changing. You have a chance here of now getting your work presented on stage by a professional actor, as well as a chance to be in one of our anthologies, award-winning anthologies, I might mention. So
Yay.
it's just an exciting thing, and I just can't talk enough about it, but I won't go on. I do want to tell you one other thing, though. If you're a memoir writer, this is a great time for you to join us because we're doing a membership drive. We're starting today and going until August 15th. August 15th is when everything changes. The submissions are all in, as well as the membership dues will be more. Right now, for $25, you can join the Memoir Writers Association, and that gives you a year of educational presentations, workshops. You'll be doing things that are just amazing once you join us, and you'll be surprised how nurturing our community is.
So
Also,
quick question, Miss Laura, do you have to be from San Diego to take part in all the events, contests, workshops?
absolutely not. You can be anywhere in the country. You can be anywhere in the world. You can be out of this world as long as you go on our website and join. And $25 is going to get you an amazing year of information. So please think about it, and just we're so excited to be part of this whole event of the Writers Festival. It's an honor to be with you.
Oh,
Thank you, Laura.
thank you, Laura. That's wonderful.
Keep it
You
up.
do so much. You do so much for the community, and the Memoir Writers Association is such a huge support to us. I mean, if y'all knew how much work went into this, you'd be like, why do you do it? But we do it because we love you and we love story. But like the memoir writers, like they're our fiscal partner. They all volunteer. I mean, it just comes together because there's a lot of love. So thank you, Laura, for being the president of all of that and making it happen. You're the glue.
Well, I love it. Absolutely love it. So I love all of you.
Thank you, Laura.
We love you back. Thank you so much, Laura. So check out the San Diego Memoir Writers Association website for more information on their programming and membership and the membership drive, and consider making a donation on their website at sdmwa.org. They are also all volunteer. And we are so lucky to have a resource like this in San Diego for those wanting to share their stories and talk about, the cathartic process that Marnie and I talked about earlier is so important.
And so we get the exciting next session coming up. We've been waiting for it. Many of you out there have been waiting for this special session with Jennifer Coburn. as a writing coach, we know how it goes with writers. Often you painstakingly work on your book for years. Work really hard on a query. Sometimes the query takes as long as it takes to, condense everything on that one page.
Oh my God, it takes longer.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's
Just
so painful.
summarizing it, the hook, all of that. You submit it to an agent, and then if you're lucky, you hear something like, "We don't think your manuscript is the right fit for us," and not so lucky, you maybe have radio silence, nothing back. Put all this energy out there, and so if you felt this pain, if you don't want to feel this pain, you're in the right place, because right now Jennifer Coburn is going to explain what it takes to move from the slush pile to the client list.
Absolutely. In this virtual workshop, Jennifer will share how she recently changed her approach to agent hunting and found her dream representative, who, by the way, went on to sell her upcoming historical novel, Cradles of the Reich, for 6 figures at auction in 10 days. Wow. Congratulations, Jennifer. That is incredible. It's good to see you. Jennifer is going to tell us how to fine-tune your target list, develop a standout query, and choose which agent to work with when the authors start coming in. She'll also discuss common mistakes authors make and how to avoid them. You'll come out of this workshop with actionable steps to bring you closer to landing your dream agent. Jennifer Coburn is the author of Cradles of the Reich, a historical novel about 3 very different women living in Nazi Lebensborn, breeding home at the start of World War II. Additionally, she has published a mother-daughter travel memoir, We'll Always Have Paris, 6 contemporary women's novels, and contributed to 5 literary anthologies, including a Paris All Your Own. Jennifer is a producer, performance coach, and performer for So Say We All, a live storytelling organization based here in San Diego. She actively volunteers with Reality Changers, a nonprofit that supports low-income high school students in becoming the first in their families to attend college. Jennifer lives in San Diego with her husband, William. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Is that a climbing wall behind you?
Looks like it is. Oh, she's on mute.
I'm on mute.
She was on mute.
Okay, I'm on mute. I need a t-shirt for this year that just says unmute yourself.
Totally. We need a button. Unmute.
I know. I'm looking
Gonna do
for a
that.
way to get my presentation up on the screen at the same time. So I'm going to just ask your forgiveness of the participants that I hope we've all gotten used to in this age of Zoom, bad eye contact. So if you see me looking like this, it's
That's okay. Well, you work on that. I have something really important to say. One more thing, everyone. Jennifer is going to be giving away 3 signed advanced reader copies of her book. If we could see that slide real quick, ladies. All you have to do to enter is add her book to your Goodreads waitlist. Easy peasy, right? Haley's going to drop that link to do that in the comments section. And can someone enter mine? I need to get someone to do it for me. This is going to go fast.
It's a really
I'll just have to buy the book. I'm just going to have to buy the book.
Yeah.
There it is. Beautiful. This isn't the cover, of course, yet, but this is one of the images that Jennifer chose. So while Jennifer's getting that, please, folks, go support her, put it on your wait list. It makes a huge difference for authors if they can get that buzz in advance. So go support her, put her on your wait list, and win a book.
One more quick reminder, Jennifer wants to hear from you. If you have questions, please post them in the chat. If you're here with us on Zoom, or if you're watching on Facebook, leave your questions in the comment field, and we'll forward as many of them as we can. So Jennifer, are you feeling ready to take the reins?
I am.
Yay!
Thank you, guys. So good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. So we've got a lot of material to cover, and I want to make sure that we have plenty of time for questions at the end. So we're just going to jump right in and cook through these points, really just go through it really quickly, okay? So today what we're going to talk about is making your target list of agents. We're going to talk about putting together a standout query, choosing the right agent, and then common mistakes to avoid. So I see that there's an agent pitch fest going on right after this. So I just want to say that everything that we talk about today, even if we're talking about writing a query letter, that can all translate quite easily to making an in-person pitch. So bottom line, what we're talking about, however you're communicating with an agent, whether it's an email or at a pitch fest, we're going to be talking about figuring out which agents you should approach and then how to get them interested in representing you. So my caveat is this. What I'm sharing today is my experience that comes from 18 years of book publishing. However, it is not the only way to land an agent. You may talk to another author, and actually you should talk to other authors about how they got their agents, and they may say to you like, oh, that's not how I did it. I did it a different way, and that's fine. There is no one way to do this. What you need to do is listen to a lot of different people, see what resonates with you, and then put together an approach that is uniquely yours. Which brings me now to a warning, which sounds a little more dire than it is. A lot of authors will psych themselves out by thinking, oh yeah, I can't possibly approach an agent because I'm not sure, do I say dear Ms. Coburn, comma, or do I say hello Ms. Coburn, colon, or do I put the word count and the genre in the opening paragraph, or do I start with how I became involved with the book in the opening paragraph and wait for the other stuff in the second paragraph? And the truth is, it doesn't really matter. There's no one right way to do this. There is what works and what doesn't work. And what works for one is going to look a little different for each person. Now, case in point, my very good friend, Eileen Zimmerman, published a memoir a year ago called Smacked, which is wonderful. And she took a look at my query letter and she's like, I don't like your query letter. It should be more buttoned up and more formal. And when I did it, this is how I approached it. And it worked for her, but it wasn't really my voice and it really wasn't my vibe. So I did it differently. I had success with my query. She had success with her query. They were totally different. So let go. If you have a feeling that there's one way of doing this and I can't move forward until I know the exact right way to do it, let go of that before you, and don't let yourself get kind of so worried about the nitpicky details that you don't do anything. So yeah, also ask yourself, if you're doing this, if you're thinking like, oh, I'm going to take this class today with Jennifer, and then I'm going to take another workshop next week, and then I'm going to do something next month. Are you doing this because it's helpful? And the answer may be yes. Or am I doing this to put off querying an agent? And the answer may be no, and the answer may be yes. Only you know that. But in my opinion and my experience, what I have found the two most important things that an agent wants is this. They want to know, can they sell your book for enough of an advance that their 15% makes it worth the work? Number two, will this author be a pain in the ass to work with? Now, there are other things that matter too, like the genre, the word count. Do they think that you're going to be media savvy? But the most important things are they going to make money from your book? And are they going to make you look good in the publishing world? So 1 year ago, I was in a worse position than having no agent at all. I had an agent who had lost interest in me. And the reason that I say that that's a worse situation is because it gave me the false sense that I had somebody who was ready to represent me and my book, when in fact they were not. Now, I realized this when I wrote to my agent, the man I thought was my agent, and I said, hey, I'm working on this historical novel. Do you want me to send you the first 50 pages of it? Because I know historical novel isn't really your thing. So let's see if this is something you'd be interested in. No response. So I wrote back 2 weeks later and I was like, hey, are you interested? Do you want to do? And I got a quick perfunctory note back that said, just send when done, which made me realize that it was time to look for a new agent. So, okay, so now we're going to talk about making your target list. So who are you going to reach out to anyway? We're going to discuss a couple different approaches. One, you can go to Publishers Marketplace and you can subscribe for $25 a month. Even if you just stay active for 1 month and then just discontinue your subscription, you can get tons of useful information. And I'm going to put some pages up soon of what the Publishers Marketplace pages look like and what kind of information that you can get from them. You're gonna, oh no, not just yet, not yet. Thank you. But you are going to be able to tell, like, there's a book, there's an author that I like, there's a book that I like, who represents them. You'll be able to take a look at an agent and see how many deals have they done in the last 12 months? How many of them were six-figure deals? How much of this matters to me? There's also a website called Query Tracker. And that's where you can go on and look at every agent who's out there agenting right now, and you can look in the comments and you can see what people are saying about them, like, hey, I queried that person and they never wrote me back, or they were really polite, or they requested a revise and resubmit. Now, again, you're just going to be reading about other people's experiences, but you can glean some interesting information from that. Number 3 is hashtag MSWL, which stands for manuscript wish list. And I'm going to show you a page of that in just a sec. And manuscript wish list is on Twitter. It's also its own site. And their agents, and sometimes editors, but mostly agents, will tell you specifically what they are looking for. And I am telling you, they're like, I'm looking for an Eskimo vampire story, and you're going to be scrolling through tons of these. But once you find the right fit, that's going to be a great person for you to pitch. There's also something called PitMad, and that's hashtag PITMAD. And that is when you do a pitch on Twitter. And it's a certain day of the year. The next one every quarter. The next one that's coming up is September 2nd. And there's a whole course on how you maximize your chances of success in PitMad. So I can't get into all of that today, but PitMad, check it out. People have landed their agents that way as well. Now, another thing that people might tell you is that a personal reference will go a long way. And it will go a long way in getting your foot in the door. In fact, my second agent, I'm on my third now, my second agent was through a personal reference, and that worked out great. However, a year ago when I was pitching, or I was thinking about getting ready to pitch this book, I asked my friend Michelle Gable, who's a historical fiction writer in San Diego. If you haven't read her books, you're missing out. Michelle Gable, check her books out. And I called her and I said, Michelle, you're always talking about what a baller your agent is. Do you think you could give me an intro? So the agent was like, great, I'd be happy to take a look at your manuscript. Any friend of Michelle's is a friend of mine. Terrific. But then 6 weeks later, she said the dreaded words, it's not a fit for my list, which I read to be because it sucks. And it sucks, and I suck, and why did I ever think I could do this? And oh my God, I'm going to be an abject failure. Am I alone here in this? Does anybody like get one rejection and feel like, well, they know, they're the expert. If it's not good for their list, it's doomed for failure. Then I had a friend of mine who's an author who said, who contacted her agent on my behalf. And not only did she recommend me, she said, I've read this book. It's terrific. You should represent Jennifer. Which went a really long way in getting my foot in the door. And then that agent responded that she read the book and she liked the idea, but she didn't care for the story, the characters, or the writing, which led me to ask myself through the tears, did you like the font I chose? What, like it was really, it was a low day. And I'm telling you these tales of woe because I know in very recent memory what it feels like to get rejected and to think like, wow, they know, they're the expert, and doubt myself and say, I should I should quit, or I should show it to beta readers and let them give me feedback on the manuscript. And then I can revise the living daylight out of this thing and then neuter it to its so that everybody, all of my beta readers are happy, but it's no longer the book that I wanted to write. And if you go through that, if you feel like, oh, I had 5 people tell me my book sucks, that's just 5 people. It really is just 5 people. I didn't revise my manuscript at all before sending it to an agent who did pick it up. So it's, like when you go to movies with friends and one of you thinks it's great and the other thinks it sucks, that's just the way it is with manuscripts. So yeah, I'm telling you this, like right now, I'm like, oh, haha, that's how it went down. But I must tell you, before I knew that my story had a happy ending, this was really, really heartbreaking, and I was not at all amused at that feedback. I see a question coming in, so I am going to address the questions at the end. I just want to let you know I see you, I acknowledge you, and I will get to it at the end. But I may answer your question as we go. All right, so my bottom line here is press on. If you're getting rejections, just press through it. Always have, or I advise you to, always have 15 queries out there so that if you get 5 rejections one day, you're like, hey, no big deal. I still got another 15 out there. You get 1 rejection, send another 2 out. Just always have things in the hopper. So now, Carolyn, if I may show the first page from Publishers Marketplace, we can do that now. All right, so Publishers Marketplace. So you see, you're going to log on and you're going to see the latest deals. Now you see here how it says, okay, the latest deals. Michelle Moorweiss's The Trouble with Robots. You can click on that and you can say, well, what kind of book is this? It sold, Jonathan Heller at Peachtree sold it. It's for publication in fall 2022. And then you can click again. Let's do the next slide. You can drill down and you can say, oh, okay, the agent is Joanna Castillo. I'd like to know about her. She sounds pretty cool. So you can see that she's the number 9 in nonfiction memoir. I'm looking on the right-hand side. Also gives you all of her contact information. Now, if you take a look on the left side, it says, hey, Joanna was involved with 20 deals in the last 12 months. That's pretty awesome. And then if you look down a little further on the page, you'll see 2 lines and you'll see last 6 months, 8 deals. Okay, Joanna's working. Last 12 months, 20 deals. Awesome. And then you see here, okay, well, she's had 3 6-figure deals since 2009. So it's been 12 years that she's had 3 6-figure deals. Okay, so she does a lot of deals in the lower or middle range. Is that important to you? I don't know. You tell me. And then you decide whether you want to put Joanna on your list or not. And then you can see, if you look on the left-hand side, go up a little bit, and you can see the top editors that she's worked with in these 20 deals. Oh, she's worked with Claudia Gable on 3 deals. She's worked at Christian Trotman and Jennifer Hershey in 2 deals. And she works with Harper. She works with Legacy Lit, Valentine. You know what? She sounds like a good prospect for me. You should have an idea of which editors you think your book will be a good fit for. And the way that you do this is you read the acknowledgments of books that you love, and you see who that are in your genre, and you see who is their agent, and who is their editor. And then you can also check out, while you're at it, who's your agent. So Carolyn, if you wouldn't mind scrolling to the next one, please. Yeah, then you can, why did I put this up here? Um, oh, right, okay. Okay, so on the top left-hand side, you'll see it says News Deals. And then you want to click on that drop-down menu so you can see the latest deals. And then you can see the deal makers. And then there's who represents. So if you know, you know that there's a title, or you know that there's an author, and you want to see who represents them, that's how you find out. All right, so thank you very much, Haley. I'm going to ask you to do one more slide, and I think that's almost it for the slides. The next slide is going to be the manuscript wish list. Just want to give you an idea of what this looks like. Eric Smith, he's looking for My Kingdom for rom-com in verse. Yeah, super specific, Eric. I hope you get that. If you scroll down to see Masha Gunik, she is a sucker for a good anti-hero main character. So please send me your, oh boy, I can't see the rest, but you get the idea. They're not messing around with, I want contemporary fiction. They're telling you exactly what they want. All right, thank you very much, Haley. I'm gonna take that slide back, and then I'm gonna hold off on that query letter, and then we'll just go back to big screen. Thank you. All right, so you've got your list. We've showed Publishers Marketplace. Before you put this person on your list, you're going to read interviews with them. And I'm going to tell you, when I heard this, I was like, ugh, that sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like a pain in the neck. I don't want to do it. Do I really have to do it? So the answer is, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything I tell you in this workshop, or you don't have to, but it helps. It helps give you an idea of what this person's vibe is like. And it's a good 45 minutes worth of research to watch their YouTube interviews, to read their interviews. But I'll tell you, there were a lot of agents that sounded great on paper, and they checked all the boxes. They did good deals. They worked with the editors that I liked. But I have to tell you, some of them just did not seem like I was going to really feel comfortable with them. They seemed a little bit like, not like we were going to vibe together. So nice people, and they probably feel the same way about me. So let's not waste anybody's time, and just pass them over. So you're going to go to read the interviews. Then you are going to customize your query letter. So yeah, you're going to have a general template for a query letter. You're going to have the basics that that every single query letter is going to have, like what's the genre, what's your word count, what are your comparable titles that sold well. This is super important. I've seen a lot of query letters where people are like, oh yeah, this book is a lot about this book is a lot like The Dust of Bones, which is not, it's just a made up book, but like that book didn't sell well. So why would you be comparing it to that? You want to sell it, you want to compare it to bestsellers. Now, I spoke with an author right before we got on this call, and she said, I have a question I want to ask, and that's about comparable titles, because my book doesn't have any comparable titles. So you don't have to compare your book to other best-selling books. What you can do also is you can get a little creative by comparing it to something else that everybody knows that is successful. For example, there's a book called The Paris Architect, and I don't know what the heck to compare it to. I've never seen a book like it. I know it's historical fiction. It's about an architect who builds all these little secret getaways for Jewish people who are in hiding in France. So what I would say if I were him is, it's like Schindler's List if Schindler was an architect. So now you know exactly what we're talking about, and I don't have to get into a whole bunch of explaining. So also something you want to cover in the pitch is the book, the hook, and the cook. Now, you don't have to say, hey, agent, here's the book, the cook, and the hook. But at some point, you want to let them know about the book, a synopsis. You want to let them know what the hook is. Why now? Why is this book, why does this story have to be told? And you need to tell them about you. Why you? Why are you the only, why are you the person who can tell this story? And then you are also going to tell them that's your template. And then when you customize these, you're going to tell them why them. And that sounds like that's what you're going to get from listening to their interviews. It's what you're going to get from Publishers Marketplace. And I'm going to show you an example of how this works in a query letter in just a bit. But one plug I want to make is Jessica Brody has a writing mastery academy. She has this terrific book called Save the Cat Writes a Novel. Love it. I have written many novels. I still get a lot from Save the Novel. Save the Cat. She has a $12 a month subscription to her Writing Mastery Academy. It's amazing. I put in my headphones. I listen to lectures that are 5 minutes. I listen to lectures that are an hour, and she has an entire section on how to pitch. And she gives you tons of downloads of examples of query letters. So I highly, highly recommend the Jessica Brody's Writing Mastery Academy. Subscribe for $12. If you won't like it after 30 days, cancel it. And at any time, if you feel like, okay, I've gotten my fill out of this, cancel it. Okay, so last fall, I am sitting in this chair and I'm still working on Cradles of the Reich, and I'm realizing I don't have an agent. And so I start to send out query letters, and I sent out 15 of these. And Carolyn, if you wouldn't mind showing the first letter, it's the one to Stephanie Cabot. We'll go through that. I'll show you what was good and what was not good. Okay, so right up front, this is the one I sent out to 15. It got good response. I mean, 5 people out of the 15 said, yeah, I'd like to see the rest of this novel. But nobody was like really urgently needing to see it or needing to read it. So I think, if I can guess, that the reason for it is that I was super boring in my opening sentence. I am writing to you because I believe that my 85,000 word, well, you can read it. It was called Spring of Life back then. Could be a good fit for your list. Super boring. I so regret doing it this way. Okay, this was good. I enjoy historical fiction with strong female characters and look forward to Maya Rodale's upcoming novel about Nellie Bly, one of my favorite historical figures. Okay, so that is her book. She's representing that. She's representing Maya Rodale. I'm telling her I know this. I know about the business. I'm a serious person. I'm not just sending out blindly. Additionally, I'm very excited to read Dolan Perkin Valdez's If This Piece, again, your client. While my novel is about forced reproduction as opposed to sterilization, which is what the other one is, I believe that the themes of bodily autonomy will resonate with a similar audience. Okay, good. Well done, Jennifer. Nice, nice. Now, then the second I start telling about the program, this I think I did well. The red line, very few people know about the Lebensborn program, a program begun by SS Reichsfuhrer Heinrich Himmler. That's kind of like, nobody knows about this. That's the hook. So then I tell a little bit about the program. Then if you can name drop, do. It's like I did in paragraph 3. I said, in developing Spring of Life, I tapped Bernhard Schlink, the author of The Reader, to ensure the manuscript's cultural and linguistic authenticity. So again, I'm showing like, hey, I'm plugged in with people who know this genre. And then I do I say per your submission guidelines, because I read and I follow directions. Here are my comps. It's a cross between the Lilac Girls and the Handmaid's Tale. And then Haley, if you wouldn't mind Carolyn, if you wouldn't mind just scrolling, going to the next one, please. And then I didn't say in this red stuff is just for you guys, the book, the hook, and the next one, please. The cook. Yeah. So the book, the hook, and the cook. I didn't put it in the letter, but there for you. That's what this is. All right. So Carolyn, if you wouldn't mind removing that, please, and then we'll just go back to big screen. Thank you. All right. So I'm sitting there and I'm like waiting for people to respond to the manuscript that I sent them. 5 people said send it. I'm super excited and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then I send the pathetic email. I don't know if any of you have ever done this, but I will admit I have sent the email saying, hi, just wanted to make sure you got it, because email is an experimental communication system and I just want to make sure it's working. And so what I received back was from one agent who responded. She said, received, thank you. Okay, great. Not a no, but again, I did no urgency. So I sent out another email. I revised it. I changed my approach. And instead of saying, I'm running to you to query about, I decided to talk about like, why did I feel compelled to write this book? What was my gut reaction when I heard about this freaky ass Lebensborn program? Like why did I want to write about this? So if we could show the next one, please, that would be great. Carolyn, so the next letter would be addressed to Marley. So in that letter that is addressed to Marley, which Carolyn will be showing on the screen. Okay, so it looks like there's some technical issues, and I'm just going to tell you what I did in that letter instead. Instead, I started out, okay, so you're back. We're going to move to the one that's Dear Marley. There we go, Dear Ms. Rousseff. Okay, so now instead of the boring opening, I said, when I first heard about the Lebensborn program, the Nazi breeding program to produce Aryan babies, my mind raced. Why would young German women volunteer to become pregnant by SS officers they had never met? How did Nazis convince thousands of racially valuable, unwed pregnant women to forfeit their babies to the Reich? And finally, where was this historical novel about the Spring of Life program so I could share it with my book club? I could read it with my book club. So now I'm telling them, like, hey, I'm signaling to them, this is a book club book and I know it. And I'm going to be I know its place in the market. And then I want to tell them, like, I was a former employee of Planned Parenthood. That's why I'm the person to tell this story about forced reproduction. Then I did the name drop of Bernhard Schlink because that was key. And then in the third paragraph, I'm like, I think we might be a perfect match given your list of historical fiction featuring strong women. And then real quick, 2 references to books that she has represented. And, don't be afraid to show a little personality. It doesn't have to be so formal. Like I said, I met Robin Oliveria when she was on tour. Who knew Manet was such a cad? It was actually a book about Mary Cassatt and was it not Rodin? Oh my God, I'm totally blanking. Anyway, another artist, but in the cast of characters was Manet, who was actually pretty much very sexually active. We'll leave it at that. So anyway, the rest is all the same, but I just flipped it so that I wanted to, so I would tell them like, this is why I was interested, and this is why I think other people will be interested. All right. Haley, I'm sorry, Carolyn, is there another part to this one? Did I end? And then, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I believe that. So now I'm telling them at some point, I need to tell them it's 85,000 words. Here's the title. It's historical fiction and my comps. And then I do the book, the hook, and the cook. So that's all there. It's just the lead that got changed. So that's, Carolyn, that's all for that letter, please. And then we will go, I'm going to just talk about common mistakes, and then how to make the choice when the offers start coming in, and then we will go to Q&A. So common mistakes, real quick. God, if there are any agents on this call, they're going to hate when I say this, but this is my opinion. I did a lot of research. I was like, oh, Marley Rossoff looks so cool. This person looks so great. And then I went to their website, and then it said closed submissions. And I was like, really? I just did all this work. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna submit to them anyway. And let me tell you, I sent this letter, this new approach, out to 5 agents, and 4 responded with the requests for full. 2 responded that day, actually within 2 hours. And do you know who the 2 who responded within 2 hours were? The ones who were close to submissions. So this may not suit your personality, but for me, I'm a New Yorker, and I figured, you know what, screw it. The worst that can happen is they can say to me like, hey, I told you I was close to submissions. I'm not going to be your agent. Okay, well, you're not my agent now. And they're going to say, you know, you're very pushy. This is not news to me. So I figured, you know what the hell, I'm going to just send it to them. And it worked out. So my advice is ignore that. Mistake number 2, querying before the manuscript is ready. There are 2 types of writers. There's the one like me who's like, let's get it done. Let's get it, like I'm querying while I'm still drafting, was not ready. The truth is, the woman who said that the voice, the story, and the characters weren't great, she was probably right. She was looking at a draft. If you are an ants in the pants kind of person, take a deep breath and take your time. Or if you are the kind of person who's going to put it off and put it off and put it off and get feedback, if you are going to second guess yourself into a state of inertia, that's another mistake. So give yourself a deadline and say like, all right, you know what? Manuscript is ready. My query is ready. By it's July 17th. By August 15th, I'm going to send out 15 queries. I'm always going to have 15 queries out, and I'm going to do it. Just do it. Overselling in your manuscript, in your query letter, if don't say this is going to be the next Where the Crawdads Sing, this is going to be the next national book. It's just don't oversell it, but also don't undersell it. Don't say like, oh, I think this might be okay. I mean, you know, this is, you know, it's a good book. You worked hard on it. Just sell it. And then going for the wrong agent. I can't tell you how many times I was like, oh my God, this person's with William Morris. I totally should want them, but I totally don't like their vibe on these interviews. Just don't go for the wrong agent because you think they're with a big agency. Go for the agent who you really feel like, this person I feel comfortable with. And this person is going to be assertive on my behalf. So, okay, so you get out there, you get your requests for full. Lo and behold, somebody calls you and they're like, I want to represent your book. You've got this out with other people, so you need to give them the courtesy of letting them know, like, hey, I'm talking to somebody else. If you want to talk to me about representation, now is the time to do that. So if you're like me, sneaky, you may be thinking, why don't I lie and tell agents that somebody else is interested? Don't do it, because A, bad karma. We don't want to lie. And B, they are going to ask you, oh, really? Who's the other agent you're talking to? And then you're going to be like, oh, it's Jane. She's new to the business. You probably Jane Doe, even though she's with the Sparks agency. So don't do that. So you're going to talk to the agent. You're going to ask that agent what her track record is. Let me just go with the her. What's her approach? Is she just going to astroturf this thing out to 30 people and maybe that's good. Maybe you like that. Or is she going to hand select certain editors and set up phone calls? How does she do it? What does she see as the approach? Is she going to go for a preempt? Is she thinking that you're going to do an auction? What's she like? And then most importantly, do you get a good vibe from this person? Do you like them? Do you feel like you can spend the next year with them? So that's it. And I think we have
Yeah, we gotta move on to some. We
questions.
only have about
Sorry,
10 minutes.
I tried to go as quick as possible, but
It's
there's
so
a lot.
much great information. Thank you so much. What I would like to do, and if Jennifer, if you're open to it, we won't be able to get to all the questions. So I'm wondering if we can get to the ones that we can, and then have you answer the rest in a blog post that we'll put up.
You bet. I want to give you a caveat. I'm leaving town on Monday and I'm leaving for a month. So it will be there, but
Maybe not right away. Okay.
not right away. Okay.
Couple of questions, rapid fire. Let's do rapid fire.
Okay.
How long did it take to hear back from agents?
Different. One agent, it was 2 hours. One agent, some of them I've never heard back from them.
Once you have the attention of an agent, what questions can we anticipate? Are there typical kinds of questions?
What's their approach? How do they do things? Do they just send it out to 30 people or do they set up phone calls? How do they work?
Do you recommend paying an editor to edit proposals?
Yes.
Well, that's fast. Oh, this is a good one. Have you experienced ageism in your agent search? Do you believe it's a thing? Asking because agents often say they are looking to develop someone's career.
I haven't. What I've experienced is the reverse. I had an agent and an editor both tell me that they were in their 60s and they weren't going anywhere, and I was like, I didn't think you were. But so no, I haven't.
Can you talk about the importance of having a platform, i.e., and how big it has to be for agents of nonfiction books to be interested?
Platform is a plus. It's not a make or break. If you have an amazing book and they think that they can make money from it and that you're not going to be a pain in the ass to work with, that's going to be much more important than a platform. That said, if you have a platform, keep, the bigger the better.
What is really the status of self-publishing versus something about Amazon? She says, if you've received 150 rejections, is it time to self-publish or abandon the project altogether?
It depends on how much you believe in the story. If you feel like fast forward to the end of your life, if you feel like, oh my God, I'm on my deathbed and this story hasn't been told and it's really a deep, deep regret, then go ahead and self-publish. If you have the stamina to keep querying more agents and more small publishers, go that way too. If you feel like, I did this and I feel good about it, you don't need my permission to quit. You just need to know that you're going to be able to live with it.
Is it okay to ask agents what type of advance they would expect from a publisher?
No. Well, I mean, it's okay, but it makes it, I didn't, because I know the answer. They're going to say, I don't know. What do you think? You think I'm going to go in and ask for a small advance? I'm going to go in, I'm going to try to get you the most money. And they may look at you and think, what an amateur, what kind of question is that? I don't know. That said, somebody else could be like, of course you ask them what kind of advance they're going to get. Jennifer doesn't know what she's talking about. So that's a judgment call. I didn't, I wouldn't.
Agents are looking for diversity in story and author, but I don't fit into any of those diversity categories. Am I out of luck in finding an agent?
Of course not. Of course not. No, the publishing world has been dominated by white men for since the beginning of publishing, and it is high time that they start representing diverse voices, and I'm glad that they're doing that. But that doesn't mean that there is no room for authors who are overrepresented, historically overrepresented.
Can you tell us what you think about the importance of proposal versus manuscript?
Okay, so a proposal is what you do when you have a nonfiction book. So proposal, you're not going to send the manuscript unless they ask for it. You're going to take a look at their submission guidelines, and they may say, I want to see the first 10 pages. I want to see the first 3 chapters. Just follow their instructions. Unless they say they're closed to submissions, then ignore their instructions.
Yeah, how do you know when to like follow that intuitive thing and follow your
You
gut?
you know yourself. You know that if somebody writes you a snotty note, if you are going to be able to let it roll off your back, then go ahead. Or if it's going to really hurt your feelings and it's going to really it's going to dampen your spirit, don't do it. There's no one answer to that. It's just what listen to your intuition. Here's what you do. You think about the best case scenario, you think about the worst case scenario. Can you deal with the worst case scenario? They don't kill you for this. Like, it's not the Hunger Games. No one will die.
Are you
For me,
sure? Are
that's
you
like,
really sure about that?
yeah, for me, it's like, if nobody stabs me, all right, let's give it a try.
Okay, here's another one. Would you agree that it's never too early in the process to start building your agent prospecting list? And do you have at least 15 before you send any out?
I would have 15 only because I want to keep the ball rolling. I want to keep things going. I don't want to have one person having it. If anybody asks for an exclusive, my answer now is no, because I made that mistake 20 years ago. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, I'd like to have an exclusive." And I was like, "They really like me. Like they want it steady." Well, no, what they wanted to do was cut off my options while they considered, and then they ultimately rejected the book. So no. Okay, so the reason I say 15 is, again, I just want to keep things out there and flowing. Is it too early to build your agent list? It could be. It could be because people quit, people change careers. It's not that hard to build an agent list, so there's no real reason to be doing it while you're still on chapter 5 of your book. I think the person who asked this, if I may be so bold, is looking for reasons to take a break from writing and I'm guilty. I do anything but not writing the book. I check Facebook. I go to the, I yeah, it is too early. There's no, start it like 3-4 weeks before you're going to query.
If you feel frozen and you want to just take one step, one baby step, what would it be towards finding an agent?
Okay, you feel frozen and you want to take one final step. Go to the bookstore or go to your bookshelf, find your 5 favorite books and find who their agent is, who they acknowledged in the acknowledgments, and then look them up on Publishers Marketplace and check out what else they've done. Stalk them.
Mhm.
I think, do we have time for a couple more, Jennifer? Or what do you
Good.
think?
Oh,
Yeah, we have time for a couple more.
Okay, rapid fire. Is a query letter for nonfiction the same as for fiction?
no. Yes and no. So, yeah, the query letter is the same, but the approach is different. For a nonfiction book, you're going to be sending a proposal. You're going to be sending a query letter, and you're going to say, like, this book is the book, the hook. This is why. This is, me. This is why you. So the query is going to have the same elements. But a nonfiction proposal is also going to have a table of contents. It's going to have a lot of other elements that you can find online. But the short answer to that question is just go back to the question. When you look at your query letter, the first thing that agent is going to see, are you showing them that A, they're probably going to make money from you, and B, you're going to be a pleasure to work with?
I have a question.
Yeah.
With memoir, it's nonfiction, but I've talked to a lot of agents and it goes back and forth on, do you send a query or do you need a book proposal for memoir? And do you write it before? What was your experience when you pitched We'll Always Have Paris?
I did a proposal, and I'll tell you something. I did a proposal, and my agent sold the book on a proposal, and he said, "Oh, the only thing that's missing from this proposal is the chapter outline, so that we can show a publisher that you know where this book is going." And I said, "Just between you and me, I don't know where it's going." And he said, he's like, just
Just fake it.
He's like, just
Yeah.
put something there. This is where I believe that it is going. And I'll tell you what, it's not where it went at all.
Mm.
So,
And it doesn't need to be, right? We don't need to worry about that.
you don't need to worry
We just
about
need to
it.
sell it. Yeah.
You just need to sell it. You'll be checking in with your editor. They're going to tell you if you've gone off the rails. You're not going to write such a different book and then hear about it for the first time when they
Yeah.
there will be, what do you call them? Not speed bumps, but
Yeah.
things that you bump into. There'll be
Roadblocks.
Guardrails.
Guardrails. Thank you.
Oh,
Woo!
guardrails.
I think we're out of time and
Well,
we have a few extra questions, so we will capture them and we will get Jennifer's responses to them.
Okay, and I just see one here. Can I
And
query
thank
two
you.
agents at the same time? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, at the same time
yes.
at the same agency? No.
No. She's like, wait a minute, hold the phone.
Someone else was asking
Awesome.
about the difference between, oh, I see that we're out of time. I cannot even ask the question.
Yeah,
Okay.
we gotta run off. We got Pitch Fest. We got two things happening at the same time.
Hey, good luck with
Jennifer,
Pitch Fest.
thank you.
Thank you
so
so much.
much.
My pleasure.